Guess what we get to do? We're going to simplify some expressions with distribution. And it's not even the distributive property book, because this is algebra and we do it all in everything. So there. Start with number 4. I'm not going to do this one for you because you can do it yourself. I'm reminding you that if you're confused, having the number you're distributing on the right side, you can rewrite it so it's on the left side. And now you can distribute -2 across that. Another way that you can write it actually is like this, since it's before. So whichever form works best for you so that you know what to do, that's the form you should use. Number 8. We've got 2 different sets of parentheses we're distributing in. I went ahead and did the first. 3 times 7x is 21x. 3 times 4y is positive 12y. On to the second one. Remember, this is -2 that we're distributing. -2 times 2x is -4x. -2 times positive y is -2y. I'm not finished yet because I've got terms. Remember, when we simplify them and combine them together, we put them in alphabetical order. I've got x and y, so I will do x first. 21x minus 4x is 17x. 12y minus 2y is positive 10y. On to number 9. What I did was to move that -5 from the back to the front. So now it looks more familiar. Now I'll go ahead and solve it. -5 times 15 is negative, let's see, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. -75. -5 times positive 8d is -40d. And then just copy the rest. Minus 24d plus d. All right, now we can go ahead and combine our like terms. We've got d terms, we've got a constant. We do our constant last, so let's start with our d. -40, -24 would be -64 plus d, -63d, minus 75. Da-da-da. On to number 12. We've got 2 sets of parentheses. We do not distribute in both of them. First one we do, 8 bumps up against the parentheses. 8 times h minus 8 times -32. 8 times -4, which is -32. Then we have minus h all by itself. Then we have minus all of that. So maybe you do have to distribute, because maybe you could put the 1 here to show that you're distributing a -1, but you are not distributing the h. So -1 times h is -h. -1 times 7 is -7. Let's go ahead and combine our like terms. Remember, variable terms first, constant last. So we'll start with h's. 8h minus h minus h gives me 6h. Now for our constants, -32 and -7 would be negative 39. And you get to do the rest. This page is all about substitution because why not? Always lots of substituting in algebra. In the first section, we are substituting 1/4 for P and 1/2 for R. Going to go down to B, R minus P. R is 1/2 minus P is 1/4. Now, what do you remember about adding and subtracting fractions? Just a reminder, what we do here, you will also need to do up there. I know you do it on your pages that have fractions all over them, but do you know how to do it on a page of algebra when it appears? 1/2 minus 1/4. Remember that you have to have like denominators. And since we have a 2 and a 4, our least common denominator will be 4th. So I'm going to rewrite this as fourths. So 1/2 as fourths would be 2/4. 2/4 minus, and this is already 4th, 1/4. Now remember, 2/4 and 1/4, they're the same. This is half, and this is also half. If you have a cookie cut into 4 parts, and you eat 2 of them, well, you ate half of them. 2/4 minus 1/4 is 1/4. That's your final answer. D, P divided by R. P is 1/4, 1/4 divided by 1/2. Did you know you could write it this way? 1/4 divided by 1/2. Well, in order to solve it, I need to write it like this. 1/4 divided by 1/2. Now, we all know that you don't divide fractions. You actually multiply. You multiply the reciprocal. So let's rewrite it. 1/4 times 2 over 1. Well, we can reduce, cross reduce. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 1/4 divided by 1/2 is 1/2. Remember, you're multiplying fractions here. Down to part 2. X is 2, y is negative 3. Let's do B and D. Substitute x for 2, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Minus 3. I'll just put parentheses. Plus 5. All right, so remember, be careful. You don't multiply that first. You do exponents before you do multiplication. So this is what we do first. 2 squared is 4. So I'm going to rewrite what we have over here. So I've got 2 times 2 squared is 4. Minus 3 times 2 be minus 6. So 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. That was a long one. Might be better to use notebook paper. D will be fine because we can go down. X cubed, x is 2, so we have 2 cubed minus 2, and then y is negative 3. All right, we've got multiplication, subtraction, and exponent. What do we first? Exponent. 2 cubed, well, that's 8. Minus 2 times negative 3. Subtraction and multiplication, well, we do multiplication next. -2 times -3 is +6. 8 plus 6 equals, what could it be? What could it be? 14. D is 14. Slide on down to 3. We'll do D together. Substituting A, B, and C. Let's see. You know what? We're going to need brackets, I can tell you now. Let's see. Yeah, because C is negative, so I'm going to put that in parentheses. So negative, and then I'll put a bracket. 3 times A is 3. Plus 2 times C. C is -2, so I'm going to put it in parentheses instead of using a dot. And then I close my bracket. Cubed. It's a lot of stuff. When I look inside here, I've got multiplication and multiplication, so I can do that first. 3 times 3 is 9. And by the way, I can get rid of the brackets now. +2 times -2 is -4. And I'm cubed. Okay. Now, everything inside the parentheses is cubed. So I'm going to do that before I do that. Anyhow, first we've got to do inside the parentheses. 9 minus 4 is 5. We have -5 cubed. Now only the 5 is cubed. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. So my final answer is -125. And now on to our last one, down on number 4. I'm going to use paper for this one. All right, yeah, I think that you'll need lined paper for these. I'm going to rewrite it with substitution. So, negative, and then B is 6, plus A squared. A is -2. Times 3, C is 4, minus, put this in, and then A is -2. All right. Now let me focus on solving this. The first thing I need to do is everything inside the brackets. I've got multiplication and I have subtraction. That comes first. Let's see. 3 times 4 is 12. All right. I'm just going to focus on the brackets now. 12 minus -2, it would be 12 plus 2. 12 plus 2 is 14. Now I'm going to rewrite everything, now that I have the brackets. -6 plus -2 squared. That bumps up against that, so it's times 14. All right, so I have plus, exponent, and times. I do this first. -2 times -2 is +4. I have -6 plus 4 times 14. I've got plus and times. Times goes next. see, 64. 4 times 14 is 64. So that gives me negative 6 plus 64. Have a positive and a negative. Be positive 58. My goodness. The value of 4b is 58. Now it's on you.